here's a something that Biden and them put in place, and the Obamas, but where the transgenders could play sports. The men transgender that identify as women can play sports with women, but I'm going to show you that this thing, this LGBTQ plus thing, it gets so complicated that the most intelligent people get confused and trying to speak about it with not trying to offend anybody, but at the same time trying to be politically correct as they can, but they can't. They get confused, as we all get confused, trying to make sense of something that don't make sense. But this is a better way of proving it. But I'm just pulling this point up because of, since we're going to stay on this political thing and what Biden and them ushered into with this presidency. The whole trans movement is a big part of their presidency, and it has caused a lot of disruption. And this is something that Trump wasn't for, but it's like people don't want to speak out against it because they scared. But look how this conversation goes here. And once again, I'm still under copyright, using the Fair Use Act under this. As you can see, it's up there in the top right.
Well, it is my pleasure. But first, Pierce, let's clear the air here. I was asked to do this show like a month ago. In the last couple of weeks, I saw, and I wound up canceling about 2 weeks ago. Why? Because I saw what you did to President Trump, our president, who I have a lot of respect for. And like he was walking out, you sensationalized the promo to build up ratings and all this. And I thought to myself, I don't want to be part of that. And so I canceled. But since then, and I stand by what I did, but since then, we've had a chance to talk to your producers. I feel pretty confident that you won't do that to me.
I'm not going to over-sensationalize this, Caitlin, and I'm delighted to have got you back on the show. And all I would say about the promo is, I know Donald Trump through Celebrity Apprentice, which I won, and he did those kind of promos on me every night to get people watching. So all's fair in love in promo.
Oh, I get it.
A former Goldman Sachs PA.
Hold on, that ain't what I want. Hold on, that's not what I was looking for. Hold on 1 second. All right, here we go, y'all.
Become one of the funniest debates. As famous.
Here we go. This is a real serious conversation. And watch how serious this is, but confusing it is to these people. Check it out.
Well, now, Caitlyn Jenner. Caitlyn, I'm so happy to have you on the show. Thank you very much.
Well, it is my pleasure. But first, Pierce, let's clear the air here. I was asked to do this show like a month ago. In the last couple of weeks, I saw, and I wound up canceling about 2 weeks ago. Why? Because I saw what you did to President Trump, our president, who I have a lot of respect for. And like he was walking out, you sensationalized the promo to build up ratings and all this. And I thought to myself, I don't want to be part of that. And so I canceled. But since then, And I stand by what I did. But since then, we've had a chance to talk to your producers. I feel pretty confident that you won't do that to me.
I'm not going to
Let's go on. First
over-sensationalize
question.
this, Caitlin, at all. I'm delighted to have got you back on the show. And all I would say about the promo is, I know Donald Trump through Celebrity Apprentice, which I won, and he did those kind of promos on me every night to get people watching. So all's fair in love in promo.
Oh, I get it.
However, let's turn to the main event of this interview. You're perfectly qualified, Caitlin, to talk about this, because I have a strong view that I support trans rights, fairness, and equality, but in issues like sport and women's sport, not to the point where it starts to degrade the fairness and equality for women competitors in sport, for example. You've competed as a man hugely successfully, and now you've transitioned to be a woman. What is your view about this?
Well, I've been, first of all, you're right. We have to do the best we can here. But I have said from the beginning, and I stand with it, that I don't want biological boys to compete against women and girls in sports. It's just not fair. Now, obviously, over the last 6 months, especially, because of Leah Thomas at the University of Pennsylvania, she had been on the boys' team just a few years earlier. I do not blame her. She played within the rules, but she dominated. She had gone through male puberty. Her lungs are bigger, her back's bigger, her hands are bigger. She just has a tremendous advantage in swimming in the pool against the women, and she proved that. So I don't have a problem with her. I have a problem with the NCAA. That we have to change the rules. We have to do a better job, because the bottom line is we have to keep it fair. And I don't want to ruin women's sports or discourage women from getting into sports because they think, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to compete against a bunch of guys.
I mean, I totally agree.
It's not fair.
I totally agree, Caitlin. But what I would also say is, I don't want to expose trans people to mockery, which is now going on with this debate, because it looks so ridiculous. You see Leah Thomas just dominating women's sport. And I think that trans people who don't want to be part of any big angry debate about this, want to go about their lives in peace and quiet and get on with it, I think they're being affected adversely by this debate. And it seems to me nobody's prepared to put their head over the parapet and go, look, this is clearly unfair and wrong. Here's how we're going to change things. If you were in charge of changing things to make it fair, what is the answer? Should trans women athletes, for example, compete against men? Should trans athletes have their own category now of competition, given there are more and more trans athletes? What's the answer?
Well, here's the problem we have here. This is a very, very complicated issue. Just like being trans is very complicated. Right. There's no right answer here, Pierce. If you just say, no trans athletes, in sports. Well, what about female to male? They're trans. That's 49% of the population. 51% are male to female. What happens to the young trans athletes who transition? Some of them, when they're 5, 6, 7 years old, they take hormone blockers, and they grow up as little girls their whole life. They have no advantage whatsoever, over the other girls. And what do we do there? So it almost has to be treated on an individual basis. But I think the first thing we have to do is we have to make the qualifying for a trans athlete a little bit more difficult for them to be able to compete. Because I think the number one thing we have to do is protect women's sports.
I mean, what you never see, Caitlin, what you never see, you mentioned there people who transition from female to male, but you never see any issue there on the sporting side because they never have an unfair advantage. The key point really about, I guess, trans women athletes is they have an unfair, natural, biological advantage. That's the nub of the problem.
If they went through male puberty, you're absolutely right. I went through male puberty, okay? I mean, I don't even play. I mean, I play a lot of golf. Yeah. And at our club, I mean, I play with the women a lot. And by the way, Pierce, the women are a lot more fun to play with than the men, but the conversation's much better. But they always ask, say, hey, we've got a tournament coming up. Yeah, we've got a tournament coming up. You want to play with us? And, you know, when I'm there, I say, oh, that would be fun. But then I never show up. Why? Because it's just, honestly, I would never want to take a trophy away from one of the other. I love the ladies at our club. They're wonderful. I wouldn't want to take, I can outdrive them by 100 yards.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and
yeah,
and it's just my arms are longer. I'm 6'1". What I got left over is more than what most people ever had. And so it just wouldn't be fair.
Caitlyn,
yeah, so
Caitlyn,
I don't play in that. And to be honest with you, Leah Thomas is, you know, honestly, Leah Thomas is one of the toughest, one of the hardest, one of the worst things that happened to the trans community.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it's such bad publicity.
Yeah.
I've met so many wonderful trans people doing wonderful things, living their life authentically. I hope Leah Thomas, it's over for her now because she's out of college. And I just hope she has a wonderful life. Being trans is not easy. And I hope she enjoys the rest of her life and has a good life.
You know what, Caitlyn?
Really,
what
Leah did is we need to look at the rules.
I agree. Listen, I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
I don't want ill will to anyone involved in this debate. I just want fairness and equality. And I don't want women's rights to be eroded at the altar of political correctness and a scaredness to have a debate. Caitlyn, we've got to leave it there. It's been a brilliant interview. Thank you. Come back soon. I'd love to talk to you again. I want you a regular guest.
Always
what do you
my
think?
pleasure. Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
I think we'll have fun.
It's really good. You got it.
Lovely to talk to you. Caitlyn Jenner.
Now, none of this would have took place if this wouldn't even be a conversation if Trump was in the office, because he knows, like, that's not even fair. He voiced his opinion on it too, that's not even fair. But even Bruce Jenner, who this dude won goddamn decathlon, like, he's nice in every goddamn sport there is. And he said he even transitioned, and he's a transgender now, and even he knows it. It's not fair. Like Judge Joe Brown, his I think it was his goddaughter. She took up women's wrestling. She had to fight a transgender woman. I mean, a transgender guy that became a woman, or she was going to lose her scholarship if she, because she told the coach, "I'm not fighting him. That's a boy." And he's like, "Yo, I can't do nothing. You got to fight him, or you lose your scholarship." She fought him, and the dude, goodness, broke 3 of her ribs and damaged her so bad to where she couldn't even go to school and lost the scholarship anyway. Caitlyn Jenner told the truth today. He knows it's not fair. You can only, everybody know that's not fair. If it was fair, it would be women. It wouldn't be a WNBA. They could be able to play in the NBA. Women's support of this transgenderism has destroyed their sports. You kind of got a point, but I'm not going to say all women supported it. You know, some women supporting it. You know, yeah, not all women supported it, but the support of it did ultimately lead to this type of activity. I agree with you on that wholeheartedly. It shouldn't even be a thing. Little nasty America X. I'm not even with little girls or teens playing flag or tackle football with boys. Yeah, like it's just men are naturally stronger than women, and I just don't think it is just a fair to women. I just don't think it's fair to women in sports. You know, a regular job, anything else, but like football, wrestling, basketball, like real physical sports. I don't I let each gender have their thing, unless it's something that they could play together that's not physical. And like Bruce Jenner said, or Caitlyn Jenner said, like even him playing golf, like I'm not gonna play with the ladies and be like, oh, you know, I'm act like I'm you know, he identifies as a lady, he go play with the ladies, then he and then knock that joint like, and they take them about 10 hits to his one hit. Like that ain't fair, man. That ain't fair. And I love the fact that he kept it 100, or she kept it 100. Women don't even realize their rights are being infringed upon. Some of them are being aware of it, or they starting to see it now. Like that's why I chose to play that interview, because if we say it, we're judging. But Caitlyn Jenner walking them shoes, so hearing it from him that lived on both sides of the spectrum, you got to respect it. And if you saying that he's wrong or she's wrong, and they live that lifestyle, who are you to talk if you're not in his shoes or her shoes? You know how I go in these streets. It's deep with these devil worshippers. But women also want to be equal to men. Some of them do. I'm not gonna put all women like in a box on everything, because there's all women are different and have different views um, on this topic. Everybody wanted inclusion now. Look what's happening. Yeah, it's getting too far. The president has nothing to do with transgender sports. Yes, he do. What are you talking about? Where you been at? Hey, look, if he want to be a she, that's his business. I'm going. If Method Man tell me his name is Method Man, I'm going to call him Method Man. I'm not going to call him Clifford. So if Caitlyn want to be a she, then I'm going to call her whatever she want to be. Now,